In this episode of Faculty of Game Science, I use a squared plus b squared equals c squared, explain that size does matter, and something to do with a Porsche. Hi everyone and welcome to the first episode of Faculty of Game Science. In this episode we're going to take a look at the Pikmin series. Oh, I'm sorry guys, but we won't be discussing you today. No, today we're going to take a look at your captain.
Olimar!
Yes, Captain Olimar, who throws Pikmin like they're carrots. But I think Olimar is one strong dude, so let's find out how much force is behind that rocket punch of his. First step of determining the strength of Olimar, we need the mass of what he's throwing. According to Pikmin Wiki, Pikmin are 250 milligrams based on the supposed fact that they can carry 20 times their own weight. I could not find any source stating this. They go on to say that one Merv sphere is 5 grams and requires 1 Pikmin to carry, so dividing 5 grams by 20 leaves 250 milligrams. This is based on just one data point, so I took this approach further. The only thing we know for sure is that one blue Pikmin can carry 10 times his own weight. We can see this if you throw a purple Pikmin into the water. One blue Pikmin can rescue a purple one. The weight of a purple Pikmin is 10 times the standard one. You can check this for yourself at one of the skill puzzles if you want to. Since most of the treasures in Pikmin 2 are real life objects like coins, batteries and lip balm, sure, why not? Most of the treasures have no masses. I found the masses of 11 treasures, excluding repeats of the same basic treasures such as bottle caps. I multiplied the mass of each treasure by 10, because a Pikmin can carry 10 times its own weight, and divided that by the number of Pikmin needed to carry it. After doing a Grubbs test and finding even an outlier, damn you shoe polish, I determined the mass of a standard Pikmin to be 25.1 grams, give or take 6.9 grams. For you imperialists, that's 0.887 ounces, give or take 0.243. Since we concluded that the purple Pikmin is 10 times as heavy, they will weigh in at 251 grams or 8.87 ounces. Let's put this number in perspective for a sec. We cannot calculate Olimar's weight doing the same trick but in reverse, because the number of Pikmin required to carry him varies over all the games, ranging from 1 to 5 Pikmin, so let's try a different approach. Canonically, Olimar has a height of 1.9 centimeters or 0.75 inches. I find a study regarding the BMI of astronauts. Yeah, I was as surprised as you to find out that this actually exists. All male astronauts have an average BMI of 23.6, so let's use this number for Olimar as well. From this we can calculate that Olimar weighs 8.52 grams or 0.3 ounces. Do you remember how heavy a purple Pikmin was? Yeah, almost 30 times as heavy. And Olimar throws those hefty boys seemingly without any effort. That would be the same thing as me trying to lift a Porsche 918 Spider with one hand and throwing it around. Olimar is one buff boy. So let's break out the physics and calculate how much force Olimar needs to throw one purple oversized carrot. First, let's see how much force he needs to lift one. For that we need one of Isaac Newton's laws. Force equals m times g. This is just to overcome gravity. We need to know two things, the weight of the object that's lifted, we just calculated that, and g, the gravitational constant of BNF 404. Nintendo basically confirmed BNF 404 is Earth after humankind either left the planet or went extinct. This series suddenly got very dark, just look at the map of Pikmin 3. Anyway, this would mean g is 9.81 meters per second squared. So the force required to lift one purple guy is 2.47 newtons. This number isn't that impressive, but I'll get back to that soon. To calculate the rest of the force required for the throw, we need the actual force behind the throw. For that we need a formula that's just a bit different from the last one. Force equals mass times velocity divided over time. The mass we already got, so that leaves us with velocity and time, and this is where things get tricky. For this formula we need the velocity after letting go of the Pikmin and the time it takes. This is a mere 2 frames, so it's probably not very accurate, but I'll have to do. The game runs at 30 frames per second, so dividing 2 by 30 leaves 66.7 milliseconds. Next is velocity. Velocity is distance over time. Time we already got, so now all we need is distance. We can get the distance by drawing a triangle like this. We know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, so let's use that. The length of c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. That leaves us with a length of 52 pixels for c. Because we know Olimar is still 1.9 centimeters in this picture, we can calculate the length of a single pixel. Doing so gives us a length of c of 3.28 centimeters. Having finally acquired all of the needed numbers, I calculated a force of 1.86 newtons. So the total force required for the throw is the sum of the two forces, coming in at 4.32 newtons. That's not much, you deliver literally this force when lifting half a liter of milk. Not so impressive. But let's think for a second. Olimar is one tiny dude, only 1.9 centimeters. And to correct Master Yoda here, size does matter. So what if Olimar was a human astronaut instead of a Hocketian? Unfortunately, the study with the average BMI does not mention average length or average weight. But according to ESA, to become an astronaut you need to have a length between 1m53 and 1m90. So let's assume Olimar is average at 1m72. This would put him at a mass of just under 70 kilograms or 154 pounds. This would mean he's over 8,000 times as heavy. Scaling everything up, since mass is in the product of every formula, we can multiply the 4.32 newtons by that factor, giving us a total force of 3.54 times 10 to the power 4 newtons, or just under 8,000 pound force. In conclusion, our dear Hocketian Captain Olimar produces, if we scale everything, over 30,000 newtons of force every time he throws a purple boy. Since I want this how strong is a video game character to become a series, I decided to keep track of the strongest by making a leaderboard. Of course, since Olimar is the very first entry, he takes the top spot. And with that, it is time to end this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Till next time, bye.